Thank you all for coming today. Today we have a Mad Talk presented by Ms. O'Connor about coming to America and the American education system. So take it away, Ms. O'Connor.
Thank you. Gracias por venir. Bienvenidos todos. ¿Qué tal se sienten? How do you guys feel not knowing the language? Doesn't feel good, right? Well, that's how my journey started. I came here when I was 12. I always felt my journey started at 12, but thinking back, it really started at 9 when my dad had to leave his family to come to the United States. With the dream of giving us a better life, he always thought there would be a lot more opportunities here. It wasn't easy, but my dad came by himself. A couple months later, my mom with a brother came. I was one of the last ones to stay because we had 2 younger siblings, so I was their mom. So for 3 years, we lived without my parents. We lived with family in Colombia. And in 1970, on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, I came to this country. I have been blessed to be here. It was definitely an eye-opener for us to come and to be in a tunnel for the first time in our life. The airport was just amazing. So we were thrilled. And to come to have turkey, we never had turkey in Colombia. Back then, my dad didn't cook the turkey so good, so it was very dry, but he perfected that. And because he believed that we are here, we will celebrate their holidays because this is where we're going to live. And that's how we have always done it. We celebrate Thanksgiving fully. It was very hard coming here in 1970. There was no one that spoke Spanish. I was pretty much, my family and I were the only ones. There was a girl that spoke a little bit of Spanish, and she translated. So the first day I went to school, first, let me go back a little bit. My uncle was the one that registered me because he knew a little bit of English. He brought me to elementary school at the age of 12. So my journey didn't start off so good because I was very old. I always felt very old. And it was hard. But I moved on to go into the classroom, and the first thing the teacher said was she pulled down a map and said, point to where you come from, and I did. Then she proceeded on asking me what tribe I came from. I was not happy. So I was angry, and she could tell. I said to the girl, you can tell her that we have cars, that we live in the city, that I lived in the city. Anyway, that made me be determined to learn the language. And it just forced me to really embrace the language and do the best that I could in school. Back in the 70s, there wasn't small classes like there is now. There wasn't ESL, there wasn't small classrooms to help you with the language. You were in a classroom with everybody, and you had to take the classes that everybody took. I remember just memorizing, especially for English. They gave us the list, they gave us the meaning of the word, and I would just memorize. I didn't know what I was memorizing, but I knew that came to that time for that test, I was ready. And that's how I had a lot of support with teachers. They were very good. Kids, not so much. They were not very nice. They used to say a lot of very mean words, but I remember a teacher. She was a Mrs. Gentile, I call her, because she was that caring teacher that always embraced me and gave up her lunchtime so I could have lunch and I could be there for my study halls. And she, when the kids will call me names and tell me to leave, that I didn't belong here, and I would be crying telling her, she would just say to me, always remember one thing. One day you will have an upper hand on them. And I would just sob and say, yeah, like what? She says, you will have 2 languages. You will be able to help double the amount of people that they can, because they can't even speak their own language. So that sort of gave me encouragement. And I was just determined to talk, even if I made mistakes, and trust me, I made a lot. I used to get red as a tomato because I got a job 2 years after I was here. And one boss was very nice, the other one would look at me and just say to me, now, can you repeat what you just said? Slowly. And that used to just, I remember just being mortified. But I kept trying. And I worked in a drugstore for many years. I ended up being one of their managers. But when I graduated high school, I knew that's not where I wanted to be all of my life. So I got a job at a bank. And it was a great career. I started as a teller. I moved up to be new accounts. That's something you guys probably didn't know about my past life, but that was my first career, was banking. And with this promotion came moving to Madison, to my wonderful Madison. This is where I met my husband, and I have been here, and my heart will always be in Madison, even though I don't live here, but I work here. And one of my favorite parts of my job today is to be able to help others, to help what I call my people. So I'm blessed. And yes, thanks to my little Mrs. Gentile back then, I now understand what she meant when she said I would be able to help double the amount of people. And I'm blessed to be here, to work with so many amazing people. It's just great. I don't want to bore you guys with any more. You guys know that I am a mother of 4 wonderful daughters and a grandmother of 2. I finally got that boy. And I am thrilled to be here. And I thank you guys for the opportunity to share a little bit of my life.
Any questions?
Yeah. ¿Tienen preguntas? Any questions? Yes.
So, Gloria,
Yes, Coach.
we have several students in this school from Colombia.
Not that you ever need this, but we're going to do this.
So, Gloria, we obviously have several students from Colombia in this school, from Ecuador, Honduras, Kevin sitting behind me. One piece of advice you would give to them?
Please embrace what you have. Take advantage of all the help that is available to you. It wasn't there when I came here. Take advantage of the tutoring, of these amazing teachers that we have that really, truly want to help you. You have technology today. There's no reason why you can't go to college. Remember, sí se puede. Anything that we put our mind to, you can do it. You have to be determined. You have to be persistent. And just embrace it. Learn as much as you can. It's the best advice I can give you guys. Por favor, aprovechen lo que tienen aquí. Tienen mucha oportunidad de salir adelante. No se queden atrás. Podemos ayudar a mucha gente con nuestro idioma. Esa es mi recomendación, es que aprovechen todo y aprendan. No se queden atrás, no se queden atrás.
What'd you say, Katie?
Anybody else?
What advice would you give to teachers that deal with students that don't speak the language?
Be patient and be kind. Estudiantes, ¿ustedes tienen preguntas? ¿No?